My name is Mark Bradley. I'm the CEO of Players Network, soon to be Greenleaf Farms International. What I'm going to talk to you about today is cannabis as a commodity. I'm calling it the Commodities Project because the more I've gotten knowledge of the cannabis industry, I realize this is not just growing, smoking, medical, recreational. It really is so much more than that. And you look back at the history of the cannabis industry and the cannabis plant, really it was used for so many other things, and then when Prohibition hit, a lot of these other things that cannabis was used for went away, and I'm going to give you some examples here. I call this the 13 disruptive industries. The construction industry. The cannabis plant has extremely strong fibers, and the fiber itself is being used now for concrete. It's being used for wall boards, for housing. It has better insulation than your typical drywall. The paper industry, if the paper industry didn't shut down cannabis in 1935, because all the sponsorships were coming from DuPont and the lumber industry, we would all be already using cannabis paper. The Declaration of Independence was signed on a piece of cannabis paper. Biodiesel, the oils are very rich within the cannabis industry. They're using the cannabis to create ethanol. Certainly we're affecting the food industry. A lot less people are drinking alcohol that are relying on cannabis now. It's a lot safer. We're certainly digging into the tobacco industry. People are smoking CBD cigarettes. They say 1/3 of all cigarette smokers in the next 10 years is going to be moving to CBD-based cigarettes. Textiles, hemp-based clothing, very popular. The cotton industry also helped put an end to the cannabis industry about the same time the lumber industry did, so now we're back competing with the cotton industry. Plastic. Henry Ford, many people may not know about this, first Model T was actually made of hemp plastic. Super strong plastic, better for the environment. You can imagine how many plastic bottles are out there that take 100 years to be biodegradable. If they actually mix the plastic with hemp, it'll be a lot better for our environment. So going ahead, of course, the agriculture business, reinventing the agriculture business, making it cool again, and bringing new revenue streams to other crops that haven't been as profitable. Packaging, the ones you probably are most familiar with are the three on the top, which is cannabis being used for medicine, pharmaceuticals, beauty, and wellness. There was a show in Vegas about a month ago, the ADS show, and I decided to go walk around there. 140 companies had different CBD products, anywhere from CBD for your pets to face masks to gummy bears to candies to tinctures for inflammation, for medical. There's so many different uses for the cannabinoids. There's 113 different cannabinoids that come out of the plant. This is just the tip of the iceberg. The products that are coming out of the cannabis plant, the demand is much higher than the supply right now. And eventually the supply is going to be there and it's going to catch up, and cannabis is going to be like a commodity. Who can actually produce the highest quality at the lowest price at the end of the day is going to win. And that's why I believe our business model and our partnership with the government of Argentina is going to be able to compete on a worldwide scale. Give you just a little bit about the business process. You start out with the seeds. Seeds go into a pot. They go into a field. Well, the plants that grow are usually anywhere from 4 feet to 6 feet. And when it's stripped down, you call that the biomass. The biomass is extracted into oils, goes through a lab, it's tested, and then what comes out of there are two main products, a distillate, which is a oil, and an isolate, which is a powder. The waste, after you pull the oil out of it, is called the hemp bio-waste. The bio-waste you could use for packaging, textiles, plastic, paper, construction. The oils are for medical, pharmaceutical, wellness, food, and alcohol. And sometimes you can go straight from the biomass into the agricultural business, which is creating your biodiesel, your energy, and your tobacco products. Tell you a little bit about our project in Jujuy, Argentina. We're the first company in the world to partner with the government. We have a 14,000 hectare farm. The nice thing about the farm is it's completely organic. Most areas of the farm haven't been grown on in 60 years. We can grow all year round in perfect conditions and have an organic product. There's an experienced agricultural team. I mean, the Argentinians are born and raised with agriculture in their blood. They've been doing tobacco and sugarcane and all kinds of crops since they were born. An amazing work team, great people. We can grow 11 months out of the year, so we're looking at 3 to 4 crops a year opposed in the U.S. 1. And the manufacturing and production area that we set up is in one of only 11 free zones in the actual country. It's like having a duty-free shop at an airport. We're starting strictly 100% medical. Marijuana, cannabis, CBD, none of it's even legal in Argentina yet. This is 100% right now for exportation, except for the amount of oil that we're going to donate to the hospitals for research of epilepsy. Where are we right now in our timeline? Our security plan is in place. We installed street lights, cameras, surveillance systems. We have guard shacks. We have live guards on the property right now. We have authorization to export genetics. So we shipped initially about 25,000 seeds. We have our cultivation team on the ground setting up the infrastructure, the headquarters, putting together the plan. We have 40,000 square foot of greenhouses that we purchased through Israel that are on its way to Argentina as well. We have 35 hectares, 86 acres of land already irrigated, waiting for the plants to hit the soil, which will be in the springtime, roughly September. We'll be harvesting in December, extracting in our first revenues in January. After the first crop is done, then it's going to be a perpetual basis. We're going to keep adding more land and more land and more land. So just give you a little idea of our business model. I call it biomass made to order. When we were in California operating, I met a lot of really amazing companies that were in the traditional agricultural business. They'd have big greenhouses and huge fields. Everything's done on a future. So if you're a Kroger's, you go to the grower and say, I need 1,000 cases of lettuce. And 6 months later, you get it. So our business model is going to be the same. We're going to give people the option around the world. What strain do you want? What formulation do you want? What fibers do you want? What compounds do you want? I'm going to start out with the two most well-known compounds right now, full spectrum distillate and full spectrum isolate. The price of this oil ranges anywhere from $3,000 or $4,000 a liter or a kilo to as much as $70,000, $80,000 if it's a rare cannabinoid. Remember I said there's 113 unique cannabinoids. The ones everyone really focuses in on is THC, the most well-known, and CBD. But there's some plants that carry small, minute amount of different cannabinoids, and that particular cannabinoid could be a sleep medicine, could be an arthritis medicine. We have the ability on a large scale to have so much land that we can grow different cannabinoid profiles. I'm going to give you a little idea of the economics. Now I'm talking about the company. We base this example on 1,000 acres because we're planning on having 1,000 acres planted the first year. The current wholesale price on isolate and distillate is going for $5,000. For every acre, we're estimating we're going to generate 64 liters every growing season. Just for making things conservative, we discounted it to half price and said, what if we only get $2,500 a liter? So for every acre we grow, we're going to generate $150,000 per growing season, or $150 million for the whole 1,000 acres. 3 times a year, $450 million what we're projected. Give you a little idea of what I estimate our valuation to be. We're public today, our stock's at 2.2 cents a share. We have a $15 million market cap. If we hit our projected gross revenues at $450 million, we project our net profits are going to be at $375 million. We're going to have about a 75% gross profit margin. If we take only a 10 times earnings per share, our market cap should be $3.75 billion within about 24 months from now. I'm going to show you how we're going to get there in the opportunities that we have. Direct investment into the Huhui project. If anyone is interested, it is a big dollar number for a very small percentage, but it provides a very quick return. We're creating joint ventures on parcels, so if anyone is in an industry, say you're in the cannabis industry, you have your own farm, you have your own CBD product, you have your own clothing line, and you say, hey, we'd like to do a joint venture for a piece of land for that product, we can customize those. You can always buy stock in the open market. Our stock symbol is PNTV. Look at our filings, go to our website, sign up for our newsletter, and it's under playersnetwork.com. Once or twice a week, we send out newsletters of what's going on. We keep our shareholders abreast. We really believe in communicating with everybody. Thank you very much. I appreciate everybody.